Okay, we're recording. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. This is Richard Burnell and Michelle King. We're really grateful for you coming to our webinar tonight and this afternoon and morning. And before we start, I'm just going to do a little bit of housekeeping. Richard Burnell and I are not qualified financial advisors, and this webinar is not intended for financial advice. This webinar is a partner-run webinar only. It is not endorsed by the company or is not official. The webinar is for general overview of concepts, and we're presenting in a very basic format for you to go and do your own research. We advise you to seek professional financial advice for any form of investing. So tonight I'm going to talk to you about what is an STO, and because there's a lot of discussion on this, and I know there's a lot of partners that are very confused, and a lot of people in our chats are very frightened or shy or embarrassed to actually raise their hand and ask questions about, what is the difference between like WCRU and CRU, and so we want to sort of bring all this stuff out tonight for you to sort of get a little bit more knowledge. So STO stands for a security token offering. And an STO is a process in which investors are issued a crypto coin or token to represent a value. So these have a value, and they're intended for trading on the STO crypto exchange and recorded on public blockchain. So an STO examples are our own token, WCRU. I won't write down what that is because most of us know what that is. But these are something I found on coincodex.com, and then STO list down there. So these actually showed me a lot of different STOs, and I actually had a lot of fun going through all the different token STOs and what they did. And I just cut and paste basically a little introduction of what each one represented. And just to give you an overview on what people do with STOs and how they raise money to get different things going. And I actually found this one quite interesting with wind energy, and I was like thinking, well, that's not a bad one. That's something that is close to my heart, with looking at different green technologies and things that we can do to help improve our planet. But I really recommend that you go to this website in Codex and look at what different STOs are out there, because it's quite interesting. Once you start reading through all these different, you'll realise what an amazing token we have in WCRU, because we have such a diverse portfolio. And we touch on so many different sectors that the diversity of WCRU in the long term is going to be amazing for us. So there's a lot of ideas of like what is an ICO. So this is an ICO is like, I can hear a voice. Whoever's talking, could you turn your mic off? So imagine if you had a good idea and you didn't have the money to execute it. So you would go, okay, I want to raise money for this project, and you set up an ICO. Now, by setting up an ICO, it doesn't give the investor ownership in a company, equity or shares, so it is still quite risky. And those that buy it are almost gambling, because and sometimes you don't know who's behind the project or whether it's going to be good or bad, or and it's a lot of hype that can influence the price. And anyone can launch an ICO. So there's not a lot of red tape to go through to get an ICO onto the market. So the ICO examples are that there's a lot of them out there, and they're just some that a lot of you will know. And to make your money in the ICO, you buy it and you sell it for higher profit. So you're sort of going up and down, or you may keep it and it may increase in value in 6 months or 2 years, and then you sell it, and that's when you make your money. So you're not getting any dividends or bonuses every month or every year or every quarter. So a security token offering, an STO, is is basically a public offering in which tokens are sold via crypto exchanges. The tokens can be used to trade real financial assets such as equities, it could be land, it could be companies, it could be all kinds of things, but they're actually real value things. So it's not just a hyped up thing, and it's quite a it's actually backed by an asset. And STOs are regulated, and one of the big things are they're in a really good way of raising more capital to build something. So say, for example, a few people got together and they wanted to build a big resort, and we wanted it to be a 10-star resort with everything and 100 rooms, and we currently had a resort that may have 10 rooms, and we go, okay, we're going to have to raise capital to build this and invest in an asset. So you would start it based on the current value, and then as you raise money, you put it in, and then your STO starts to go up. It pays dividends to the investors, and money is invested back in. So your STO starts to grow in capital value, as well as often giving you either a dividend each month or each year, depending on when the company sets that, when they're going to pay out. STOs are traded on the blockchain, so they're actually easy to sell when you need to. They are regulated by governing bodies, so there's quite a lot of rules, and I don't even pretend to know what all the law behind it, but there's quite a significant amount of governing bodies behind STOs. And to get the status of an STO, it must go through a lot of auditing, dealings, and a lot of compliance to get a governing body such as the SEC to approve it as an STO. An STO has a high entry barrier, and this means that the everyday person can't just go out and buy an STO. You can't just go, yeah, well, today I'm going to buy $2 million worth of an STO token. It's quite a process to go through, and you often have to buy it through a broker or a financial advisor. So this brings me to the disadvantages of an STO. Now, there's a lot of regulations and limitations on who can invest in security tokens. So that means, like, for example, Bitcoin. Anybody can go out and buy Bitcoin. We can all get in there and we can buy a little piece of Bitcoin or a whole Bitcoin if you've got the money. But we can't just go out and buy STOs unless we have a professional financial advisor buying that for us. So this can stifle the mass adoption of STOs. So it will limit it to a market which is quite it can be good and it can be bad too, because the demand on it would if there's, like, for example, if our WCRU was had a lot of brokers selling it and it started getting a lot of hype, those brokers would start selling STOs, the WCROs, on our behalf, on the company's behalf. There's middle professionals required to sell them, so it's not something, again, that we can just go out and buy once they're launched. And this can often lead to trade restrictions. I was reading a little bit about that today on Google, and just about some of the restrictions that can happen. I really recommend you Google this and just read some of this stuff. And there's often a waiting time before STOs can be sold based on the initial regulations. So a good example of that is our WCRU. We have to wait till next year before any of us, before one, it starts unlocking at 1% per month, and two, before we can actually sell any of it. So that's like just one of the barriers. So we can't just buy WCRU and start selling tomorrow. So that's something that could be looked as a barrier or could be looked as an advantage, depending on, your circumstances. So the advantages, and I was reading all this information about the advantages, and I thought, wow, it's actually really exciting, because I've probably for the last 12 months dabbled in crypto and buying and selling, and sometimes I've lost money in it, sometimes I've gained, but sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just thinking, oh yeah, that sounds like a good coin, and I will just buy that based on hype, and sometimes I've made money and sometimes I haven't. So what I like about STOs is it's generally seen as a lower risk than ICOs because the security laws protect them. So for a company to have their token as an STO, they've had to go through a lot to get them, as most of us know. Like we've heard, like those that have been on the closed meetings or on the company webinars would know that there has been a lot of there's been a massive process to get where we are today in the company. They're also backed by real-world assets, meaning they're easier to assess whether the token is priced accurately, and that's a really important one because professional financial people can actually, or even us, we can actually go and investigate what the company's worth and whether the STO is priced at the correct price, and that can influence our decision whether we buy or sell or hold them or whatever. So it's a lot more open than an ICO. And STOs, once they're out trading, they can be traded 24/7. You don't have to trade them Monday to Friday. It's a 24/7 once they're able to be traded on the markets. The smart contracts, I was reading about smart contracts today and how they are created, and they actually reduce the need for lawyers and making an STO a more affordable option. And I'll give you an example of a smart contract that we currently have with WCRU. When we convert our CRU to WCRU, that's a smart contract that deals with that process. So we're not going to a broker or anything to do that, or we're not having to send money to a bank account, or we can just purchase tokens online and then we can do that ourselves. That transaction becomes like an automated transaction, which eliminates the need for a lawyer or a advisor to do that transaction. Now that in itself saves the company a lot of money in administration, and these smart contracts are set up for one of those reasons, but it also creates a standard, and the standard becomes a black and white standard through all the same transactions. So if we're converting that smart contract, it's the same transaction, it's the same process. One broker can't say, oh, well, I'll just do it for a bit less, or I'll do it for a bit more, or add a fee on, or whatever. It's just the same process right through, which I like too, and that makes it a very honest, secure transaction. The initial security offerings are also cheaper because the way they're structured make it possible to remove the middlemen, and such as banks and brokers, and that's very appealing to me with an STO. So the WCR2 tokens, here's an overview because I love our WCR tokens. We have 4 incomes from that, and staking. For those that you are not staking, I really hope you will change that and do some staking. I'm pretty sure about 99.9% of staking in our Telegram education group. So, but those that you have just started to take notice of what's going on, there's a lot that you probably need to catch up on. We've got the loyalty program bonus. That's 5% of the total token sales credited monthly. This type of income will be available only till October 21 this year. Then we've got profit bonus, which is credited monthly, and we've got WCRU shares, and that will just continue to go up as our portfolio goes up. And as we all know, it's quite exciting. We've got a lot to look forward to. So the actual asset value of our shares will go up, and plus we're getting staking with the UNTB. That's pretty cool. But once people get their head around that, the price of that will go up, and that will go very well for us in the future. And finally, I want to end on this note about what Richard and I do in these webinars is don't be afraid to learn or ask questions, because I see a lot of comments in social media calling people uneducated or you know, they don't know what they're doing, and I find it quite degrading. And I want to say to all of you that listen to it, we're all learning, and don't if you ever get called uneducated because you know you don't know something, don't take it on. I actually find it quite rude, and I want to say to everybody, we don't have to be financial, you know, gurus at this. Like, most of us that have come into this are just everyday people who are having a go. And I really want to say to you all, be proud of what we've done and what we've achieved together as a membership. And often the people that are saying they're uneducated or making these judgments, ask them what they're qualified. Are they qualified financial advisor? And most of them, 99%, are not. So if you're called that in the chat, don't take it on. Richard and I, we don't allow it in our Telegram group. But, and no question is stupid or uneducated. We all have different learning processes and how we digest information and learn. And some people might need to hear something 5 times before it sinks in. I know with Richard and I, Richard is really good at numbers and working out all these amazing spreadsheets, whereas I'm probably a lot better than technology than him. I'm not uneducated and he's not uneducated. We complement each other, and together we actually come up with these good ideas, and we combine our knowledge to help others. And I never feel uneducated when I'm talking to Richard about, and he's telling me about something, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool, and I'll go away and Google it. But and he's the same when he's got something going on with his computer, and I'll just go, no, if you do this and blah, 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 and cut and paste this and it'll work, and it does. We're sharing the knowledge, and that's what it's about. So if you are on the chat lines, on the social media lines, and you hear these comments, put your hand up and tell the person to stop it, because the sooner we stop this stuff going on, the better it is for all of us and our company, and it will also give a lot of people courage to build and go forward and really get behind this company. So with that note, I'm going to hand it over to famous Richard, because I know that you've all been waiting for him. Don't you love that cartoon? This is Richard. I just saw this and I thought, this is Richard in Melbourne, because it's so cold for him. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen. How do I do that? Stop share, and it's over to Richard. You've got to unmute yourself, Richard. So unmute.
Do that. All right. Well, there you go. Thank you for that. That was yeah, very, very good. Lots of great information there. That's really, really good. Okay.
Oh.
Now we go. Yeah, no, that's great. No, and I would totally endorse that very last section. That I just really, really believe the only stupid question is the one that you don't ask. Because if you're in a position where, you know, you can ask a question about anything, and if you elect to not do that, then that's just sad, because we're here to just answer questions and help. But we're going to have lots of questions after what we're going to talk about right now, because it's a really important topic that everybody really does need to get their head around, because it's going to affect what we do in the immediate future, like even as soon as next week. So let me take the screen, and okay, now can everybody see my screen? Can you see my screen, Michelle? Good. All right. Let me just. Yeah, okay. I will get rid of that little piece. Okay, and this is where we're starting off, and tonight we're probably going to spend a little bit of time talking about CRU. We seem to have we were very focused on our old buddy CRU, And then, World CRU sort of came and sort of took over, and we've become very, very focused on that and things. But we're now coming back to CRU to have a look at a CRU. But and the reason why we're going to do this tonight and why it's important is because of what this thing says is that we are all in this together. We really we are, and it's what we do collectively actually makes the difference. And when we go through what we're going to go through tonight, you'll see why we all do need to be in this together. Now, I'm going to just start off. Something popped up this week, and we just want to squash something that popped up because it was a bit of a mischief that it came up, and it wasn't necessary. But one of the problems in trying to this Shana Alexander was a journalist and a TV host, and she made this, and it's kind of true. But we're going to talk about this popped up during the week, this ISO 20022. That what that is, it is a standard that is related to payment processing systems. It has nothing to do with security tokens. So World CRU will probably never, ever, ever be attached to it because it doesn't have to be. The things that need to be attached to ISO 20022 are payment processing systems. And I know for a fact, because I've checked it out with the company, the relative organisations in our company, such as Unitex, Global Unit Pay, Quantum, all of the payment processing departments that the company has are all aware of what this token is. These are the sorts of businesses that need to be familiar with the ISO that was discussed. And they are all companies that and departments and divisions of organisations that have to do with payment processing. IS 20022 is nothing about security tokens. So please, with that being said, let's move on and let's get down to business. Because just when everybody thought we've put CRU to bed, this has come up. This was Armand's and I have worked on this for the last couple of days, and this was I was giving Armand's a presentation overview. This presentation I'll be letting people know that if we keep selling CRU at 2 cents, as an example, the buyer of those CRU is still going to pay the difference between the exchange market price and the current UG Pay conditional price plus a 1% fee. Now, that on the 21st of this month, that means that if a person sells a CRU for 2 cents, they will get the 2 cents that they've sold it for. And UGPay will get the 28 cents plus the 1% fee if that person converts their CRU to World CRU. However, and this is the super critical thing that we all have to get together on to understand, if the exchange market price was 30 cents, the seller, would get the full 30 cents and UGPay would get the 1%, to which Armand's replied, yes, that is right. So this webinar is trying to create, by understanding what is happening with WCRU, for us to see the implications of that with CRU and how we can generate, a huge benefit from this conversion. And it can be as much as, if you understand this, as much as 3,800% in growth. Because that's the potential that CRU has. And I'm not kidding, that's exactly what it is over the next few months. The first part of what we need to look at is this chart. Now, this is the conditional price announced by UGPay for World CRU. This is what is going to happen, and what we have to understand is that they're giving us knowledge that it's not a matter of having to look into a crystal ball and try and guess what's going to happen. They're actually laying it out for us to tell us exactly what's going to happen. Now, right now, if you have a look at the conditional price of CRU, of World CRU, it's actually 30 cents. That's what it is right now. So how do we as owners of CRU, how do we benefit from that? Well, the company is giving us a huge chance, a huge opportunity to make some real money if we actually see the opportunity that they're giving us. So what I'm going to try and do now is explain. So here's how it works, because the game has changed. Not that the exchange is actually game, that's just an expression, but the game has changed, and it is now a seller's market because the buyers of CRU have lost the advantage, the negotiating advantage that they have with the introduction of conditional CRU price, World CRU pricing. When someone buys CRU and they wish to convert it to World CRU, they have to pay the difference between the conditional price of World CRU and the market exchange price of CRU. And when we go through this, please remember that CRU is continually tradable up until it gets converted. And we also have the use of peer-to-peer transfers, which gives us a little opportunity to sidestep smart contracts. We're going to talk about that later, but just keep that in mind. Because the bit that is the game changer is the bit that says that they have to pay the same price. They've got to pay the gap price to get World CRU now. Now, when I made this slide up the other day, this actually was relevant. But if someone bought CRU last night on the Unitex exchange for 1.65 cents, they could have purchased 65,000 CRU and paid $1,072.50. Just as an aside, on the day that I did this slide, the next day, the price did go up to 2 cents, and if they'd sold it at 2 cents, they would have made 12.12% on their money overnight. But that's an aside. But going down into the green box, if someone or a group of people had purchased 65,000 World CRU, now they would have paid to UGPay $19,500. If they had bought it from Unitex with the conversions included, it's going to cost them the exact same price. So if they're going to pay 1.65 cents on the exchange and the additional amount that they now must pay, it means that it brings it up to 30 cents. Now, I know that I'm repeating this over and over, and I'm trying to do it in different ways to try and hopefully create a picture. A buyer is now going to buy for the same price, whether he buys World CRU directly from UGPay or whether he buys CRU from Unitex and then converts them to World CRU. And that's the game change, because it used to be different. A buyer could buy from Unitex at a cheap price, and then for a cheap price, he could also then convert them to World CRU. They can't do that anymore. They can't do it. But who makes the money? And this is where we're going to slowly bring it back to what Andre Hirata and what the company are doing for us. If he goes direct to UGPay, obviously UGPay make the money. But if he goes to Unitex and he buys from Unitex and he's buying at a parity price, then the sellers of CRU make the money. In fact, that's we make the money. If we sell our CRU at the market price of 30 cents to be compatible with the current conditional price of World CRU, we get to keep that 30 cents. And the buyer will go and he will pay the 1% conversion fee to UGPay. Now that is going to become very important as we get later into this presentation. If he buys directly from UGPay at the conditional price, well, he still has to pay the 1%. So there's no difference there. But if he buys from the exchange at 2 cents, the person selling that CRU will get the 2 cents. But the person buying it will have to pay the gap fee of 28 cents plus the conversion fee of 1% to UGPay. Just as the final thing when we're talking about it, that you can go to UGPay and you can buy World CRU and you can pay the full price and it all goes to UGPay. If you buy at the market price of 30 cents, which is what the conditional price of CRU is right now, the full payment goes to the CRU seller, which is you, me, which is us. Now, this is just I just produced a chart that will give some idea that if you were to buy, this shows the reflective growth of CRU as it follows the conditional price of World CRU. The conditional price is the price a buyer is going to pay to get World CRU. Whether a CRU holder gets any or all of that price for his CRU is up to each CRU holder. Now this is the chart that if you buy CRU for 1 cent or 2 cents, and on the 1st of August, we know that on the 1st of August, the conditional price of World CRU is going to be 50 cents. If you're bought CRU for 1 cent and you sell it on the exchange for 50 cents, that's a 4,900% growth. And the numbers are there reflective for what's going to happen. Now, we know that on the 1st of September, because we're told by UGPay it's going to happen, that on the 1st of September, the conditional price of World CRU is going to be 80 cents. And then every day at midnight, the company is going to post what the conditional price of CRU is going to be for the next 24 hours. They're going to do that Monday through Friday. So we don't have to guess at what it's going to become. They're telling us well and truly in advance. Now, what that means is it gives us a chance to get our head around this and work together on lifting the price of CRU. This is a conversation. This is where it becomes important because this was a conversation, again, that I had with Armand. In essence, if members actually lift the market price of CRU, they will personally profit. And the company will make less when the conversion took place. And the company is okay with that. Armand's reply is yes, that's the plan. We are trying to create the value to bring people to it. But from October now, there's changes occurring to the security, the purchase of securities coming up in October, and this is going to disappear. So we all have, without having to become sophisticated or accredited investors, we all have a few months left in which to understand this and take the maximum potential advantage of this situation. because the owners of CRU now totally control its price parity with World CRU. They have ever since the conditional price of World CRU was changed at the beginning of this month. It was put back to 10 cents. But I just think that it's been missed, that we haven't, because the price of CRU on the exchange has never matched it. In fact, as the conditional price of World CRU is going up, the actual, the retail, the market price of CRU on the exchange is actually going down. And that's just an absolute example that people are not understanding the importance of this. And we're just about to explain the importance of it, but it's not going to go back, which means that the game has changed forever. So what is the impact of that looking forward? This is what I give Andre the credit for, the synergy of all of this coming together over this period of time. CRU for CRU staking rewards are just about to be released. We have conditional pricing of World CRU, where the price and what it's going to be is laid out for us, so we don't have to guess. We are just about to have the release and the opening up of digital guarantees and the release of Ugain into markets. What CRU for CRU staking rewards are going to provide is a massive supply of CRU, unlocked CRU, to meet the demand of the new consumers who are going to be wanting CRU or World CRU, because that's what these two companies, Digital Guarantees and Ugain, that's one of the ways that people are going to get access to and participate in these programs. They're going to need to have CRU, or they're going to need to have World CRU. The advantage to people in having it with CRU is the fact that CRU is tradable, which means if somebody has an arrangement with the company where they've got the option to buy CRU or World CRU, they could take the option of CRU, because that gives them an out that if they do not wish to continue the program, they can instantly sell CRU and move on. Whereas if they buy World CRU, they're locked into the program. So there are going to be people who will want to do both. And we need to know how we maximize the advantage of that, because those people are going to buy CRU or World CRU if it's for the purposes of having it ultimately as World CRU. They're going to pay an equal price. But whether we as CRU owners make any money from that is determined by the price that we are selling CRU for on Unitex. People are going to be getting their rewards from Eventi staking in the next few days. If they want to convert their CRU to World CRU and only pay the 1% price, parity in price between the conditional price of World CRU and CRU has to exist. That's all there is to it. If there is a price difference between CRU and the conditional price of World CRU, those that are receiving the rewards in CRU who want to convert are going to have to pay the difference plus the 1%. Or they can stake for UNTB and they can wait for that conversion window, or they can wait for a price that's more suitable for their particular needs. The UNTB that they get, the CRU that they're getting can be sold peer-to-peer, which can be, there are ways that you can maximize a price advantage by doing that, or it can be sold on the exchange. But we're just going to talk about this little bit, the conversion of CRU for the 1% is only going to occur if parity exists between CRU and World CRU. Now, a window to convert at the rates that were available to us last month is going to be offered by the company once the Eventi program is finished, which is 3 years from now. So you will get the chance, you can stake for that period of time, and you can hold your CRU until that window opens, but that is not going to be offered until the Eventi program is finished. And this also applies for the staking for CRU for periods of time, 3, 6, 12, whatever those months, those periods are. That window will be opened for cheap conversions once the Eventi program is complete. So if you look at that in a timeline, the Eventi staking ends in March 2024. The conversion from CRU, the cheap conversion from CRU to World CRU, that window will open in April 2024. If we are still under Regulation D rulings, which is probable, that means they will go into a 365-day lockup, which means that the full release of reward tokens plus your Eventi CRU capital is not going to happen until March 2028. Now, if CRU parity pricing exists today, that's not going to happen. Once CRU parity pricing exists, then the conversion is just for 1%. You may have to sell maybe a few CRU to cover your 1% fee, but the bulk of your CRU will be able to be converted for that 1%. The only way everybody wins is with the parity pricing. UGPay wins, Evo Rich wins, and CRU wins. Everyone wins when the conditional price of World CRU and the Unitex market price of CRU are equal. That this absolute absurd situation of where CRU is selling for 1 cent, and people are getting upset that they're going to have to pay such a huge fee to convert it to World CRU. The company's view is that if the members of the people that own CRU put a 1 cent value on it, then why does the company have to foot the bill when you want to convert it to World CRU? It makes sense. What the company is saying is that if you put a value on it of 1 cent, but then you see greater value in World CRU, then you need to pay that greater value. But if we all understand that a CRU, even though it's not a secure thing, it is 2 mouse clicks away from being a security token. And we need, as a group, we all need to come together to understand that we need to start lifting and lifting significantly. And we know the price that we need to lift things to, because UGPay Group have told us what they're actually going to be doing with the price of World CRU. CRU, when sold at the market price equal to the conditional price of CRU, remember this, that the CRU seller keeps all the money. On the 1st of August, when the conditional price of CRU is 50 cents, If you sell your crew and the market price of crew is at 50 cents, you get to keep that 50 cents. And UGPay will just get the 1% conversion fee. And with that, everybody is happy. Why would Andre be happy about that? Well, Andre knows that all the crew sellers, everybody who's selling crew, when they're selling it for the parity price with World Crew, are getting the maximum reward for their crew. And they're doing it because they've become financially literate. And that has been his goal all along. On top of that, he also knows that that good news is going to spread like wildfire. People getting the maximum value for their crew and it going up. And they know that in August it was 50 cents and in September it's going to be 80 cents. And that information is going to get spread through social media and all over the place. And what Andre Harato knows is that is going to be a huge magnet for Everrich. It is going to draw people and money and opportunities for Everrich. And if we all get together on this and stop, and unfortunately, people are milking the price and sucking the blood out of the crew price by selling it at 1 cent. But then they whinge and moan and complain when they are having to pay to convert it to World Crew. And we just don't get to have it both ways. We need to sort of seriously all work together, help Andre, help ourselves by getting the price of crew up to the same price as the conditional price of World Crew. So then when you get your rewards from Eventi, when you get the rewards from the staking of crew for crew over periods of time, the only additional cost that you're going to have is the cost of that 1%. So, Michelle, that is my presentation. I'll stop sharing, and we can just open it up for questions.
Thank you, Richard. That was wonderful. And gosh, like, we have to get the word out to tell people to stop selling for 1 and 2 cents. Like, it's just got to happen immediately, like, for all of us. Questions now, guys.
Questions.
Let's go.
No questions from my side.
I don't have question, but it's a very, very good explanation and strategy. But maybe I just have a little clarify for, and if the people, of course, it's advantage for us that everyone keep the same private World Cruise. But if we keep the cruise, what will be who will be buy it if the price is similar to the World Cruise?
Okay, no, fair question. When there's a lot of people are going to be introduced to the company through UGPay and the digital guarantee facility that's going to be offered, they need to have World Crew or they need to have crew. That's just the plain simple fact that they need to have them. Now, where are they going to get them from? They're going to get them from people who have unlocked crew. And those people are the people who staked for Eventi, because they're the ones that are going to start to be getting paid out. In 2 days' time, that crew is going to start appearing in people's back offices. Some of those short period of time, the 3-month crew for crew staking periods, they're coming available. Now, we have a chance of selling crew. And if we can sell crew to people, if we can show people, you can promote crew on social media. You can't promote World Crew, but you can promote crew on social media. You can tell the world about it. You can tell people you've got it, come and see you. And they can come and understand that as crew, they have the option that they can convert it, and if the price is correct, then if the price is, and what they call the parity price, that's what they're looking for. It needs to be equal. The CRU price needs to be equal to the world CRU price. Then they're just they'll do that for 1%. So it's a very, very low cost changeover while ever the price is equal. And that's the big issue. The issue is, and when I was talking to Armand's about it, he was saying that it's that the company cannot change the view of the people. If people don't think CRU is worth anything, then they haven't been listening to the webinars and the information that the company's been putting out to say that you will always get a 1-for-1 exchange of CRU for world CRU. There is, for every CRU that was, every 80 billion of them that was made, there's 80 billion world CRU that have been made to swap 1-for-1 CRU to world CRU. But the price has always been the killer. And until people start to realise that and start putting more value into CRU, then they're going to be surprised. Now, a lot of people thought that they had this window, this 2-week window of opportunity when they got their CRU. And to be absolutely fair, I thought that as well. They had this window that they were going to be able to convert CRU to at a cheap rate to world CRU. That is going to occur, but it is not going to occur. It is not going to occur until the Aventi staking program is completed, which is just under 3 years from now. And the company's view is that if CRU and world CRU were equal, and they were supposed to be equal, then people can convert for just that 1% fee. They can sell a couple of CRU, earn enough money to cover that 1% fee, and convert the bulk of their CRU to world CRU for that 1% fee. But you can't bleed the life out of something, which is what we're doing when we sell CRU for 1 cent, and expect the company to be for that attitude. But you just can't do that. It's not even reasonable to think that we can dump CRU for whatever price we can get for it, and then expect for the company to foot the bill for the conversions. It's just not going to work. The company's focus is on the holding of the integrity and the price of world CRU, because world CRU is backed by assets. It's backed by it's all the things that Michelle was talking about. And CRU is 2 mouse clicks away from becoming a world CRU. But for some reason, those 2 mouse clicks have made it almost of negligible value. And so we need to change that thinking. Now, there's a lot of people who think that in 2 days' time they're going to get all of this Aventi CRU, and they're just going to go click a button and they're going to be able to convert it, and they're going to be in for a real big shock when they find out what the price is going to be for them to convert it. Now, there wouldn't be that shock if the price was up higher. So when these people, Kitty, when these people come who want to participate in the digital guarantee opportunity, or they want to take on the UGain opportunity, they want to get involved with that, they're going to be introduced to something, or they should be being introduced to something that is the same price, and then they can just pick which option they particularly want to follow. But they're going to be faced with something quite different at the moment, unless we can lift collectively, we all have to join together and get the price of CRU up towards and getting closer and closer to the price of the conditional price of World CRU. There is going to be, when the company rolls out digital guarantees in Ugain, there are going to be a massive number of people who are going to be wanting to get their hands on CRU, World CRU, and UNTB. And if we have them, now we can sell someone who joins Ugain, we can sell them our CRU for 2 cents. That's our choice. But when they convert that to World CRU, UGPay is going to get the balance. Now, on the 1st of August, the conditional price of CRU is going to be 50 cents. And Andre Herato is saying, we've got 2 months, we've got until October, till these new rules on the definition of an accredited investor come in. We've got a chance between now and August, which is not very many days, but to start making a significant push up in the price of CRU. And Andre's saying that if you do that, you get the reward. You get the money. It's not, you're not doing this. We're not out pushing something that the company is getting the reward for. When we go out and we do this, we are going to directly get the reward for it. Yes, the company gets a spin-off reward for it because people talk about CRU in a positive way. They talk about World CRU in a positive way. They talk about EvoRich in a positive way. They're doing well, absolutely. He's not saying that he gets nothing for it. But what he gets for it, he's prepared to accept. But what he's also giving us a chance to get is a big win. And this is going to be for many of us. This next 2 months, next 2.5 months is going to be probably the final chance that a lot of us are going to get to actually make some real money out of CRU. It just depends on how seriously we take it and how seriously we do it. Now, anybody listening to this presentation, I would be out and I would be buying as many of those, and I've been doing it. I've been buying all those cheap CRU, I've been going crazy with it, because the reality of life is, if someone is holding on to it and they don't see the value in it, well, take it off them. And that's not being nasty. I'm doing as much as I can do to encourage those people to not sell it for 1 cent. I really am. I don't stop talking to people about it. But I'm also not a martyr for the cause. And if they turn around and say, "Oh, I'm still happy to sell it for 1 cent," I'm happy to take it off them. And then it puts CRU into the hands of people who just have more respect for it. There could be a lot of people who are selling their CRU cheap, and they're thinking that they're going to get a huge big payout in CRU from Aventi, and they are going to be absolutely gobsmacked when they find out what it's going to cost them to convert their Aventi CRU to World CRU. So this is just a plea from Michelle and myself because we do understand what this price parity, the implication of it, that we just need to get that information out to people to start recognising that the price of CRU has got to go up, and it's got to go up quickly.
I have another.
That was a big long answer, wasn't it?
I might add to that, Richard. Like we both talked about this, whether we should actually say anything, get it out, and I said to Richard, let's just do a webinar and get it out there for everybody, because we know a lot of people will look at the recordings, and hopefully we can lift that price up really quickly, because people that are selling at such a low price are making the biggest mistake and will be so upset soon once they realise what they've done. Richard, can I go on to some questions? We've got a few questions in the chat. I know there's some hands raised, but I'll just do a couple of questions from the chat because these people don't have mics. So I've got one from Hassan. My question is, if we can be available in another exchange and CoinMarketCap, that would help for the price. That will help for the price to go up. Yeah, I think that would.
Yeah, that would. But
that,
yeah, if you actually have a look at the volumes being traded, the volumes being traded on Unitex right now are pretty big. They're actually the company is actually trading. They're turning over quite a lot of CRU. The prices aren't huge. We all acknowledge that, but the volume of CRU getting turned over in a 24-hour period on Unitex is really huge. Now, Andre Harato, his feeling is that he doesn't believe that that will significantly improve by going onto another exchange. You know, that it's not necessarily going to double the amount of CRU that gets turned over or bought or sold by simply going onto another exchange. So what we need to do is we need to put value into CRU, so then when the volume does change, the value is there. When the value goes up, then people on other exchanges will be interested in buying it. If we put CRU on another exchange and they look at they look at the last 3 weeks of, say, the price of CRU, why would anybody buy it? Because all it's done is gone down. But if we can do something which generates a stabilising of the price and then an increasing price, then when that goes on to another exchange and people do a review of the token, they will see a token that's actually steadily going up in price, and that's when they'll buy it. But right now, and I can understand why what Andre's saying is that right now there is no great point in putting CRU on another exchange while it's going down in value. And as far as CoinMarketCap goes, he wants to get on CoinMarketCap. He wants to put it there, but there again, you need to be displaying yourself in a way that people are interested to pursue buying your token. If you go onto CoinMarketCap and you are visible to the world as a decreasing token, a decreasing value, what was the point of going on to CoinMarketCap? You go on to CoinMarketCap if you are increasing in value and you want more people to know about it. So we need to demonstrate that first. We as owners of CRU need to show that there is a point to pursuing CoinMarketCap to get on there, because we've got something that's increasing in value and is worth the rest of the world finding out about. And that's not CRU at the moment.
Well, we might just go straight on to a question from Karila, if that's okay. Like, Karila, would you like to unmute yourself and ask your question? Connor, you had your hand up?
Yeah, so I just want to ask, so when October comes and only accredited investors can get into WCRU, won't that give some more worth to CRU? So if we have a prospect that wants to get in, but they can't since they're not accredited, could they then still buy CRU at whatever price it is at that time and convert without accreditation?
Yeah, and that's and that is the last hurrah that we're going to have. But I haven't seen, and I've asked for them and I'm pursuing them, what are the new criteria that they're talking about that, you know, it may be that we as co-owners of the CRU, we got an exemption under the SEC regulations because as a co-owner of a company, you can buy and sell your own security token. Now, maybe, and I don't know, and I'm looking into finding out what it is that maybe that exemption has been taken away. I don't know. But I will certainly find that out. And as soon as I know, I will post the answer in that. But Armand's was very, very, very adamant that in October, our opportunities to be able to freely convert CRU to World CRU are going to be taken away from us by October. Now, I don't know what that regulation is that he's aware of. In all of the discussions that we were having, it wasn't something that I pursued with him at that time, because I wanted to try and get this understanding of this window of opportunity that, in absolute fairness, I actually did think. I didn't think it was going to be a window that was opened up at the end of the Eventi program. I thought it was something that would be offered earlier. So that was something that him and I were spending a lot of time going over and talking, just to make sure I got it right. But we didn't talk about what that new regulation was. But I will find out, and I'll post in the group what it is.
Okay, because currently with that,
sorry, mate,
with the co-owner being part of accreditation, because we've talked about before, like if that's true, then just owning one CRU goes a long way. So we could then put whatever price we want on what we think being able to buy a security token as not an accredited investor does for the public. But we have to see, I guess.
Yeah, we will find out, and I'll know this coming week, but I just don't know now. Next question.
I've got one from Ian Burt. Would you recommend buying CRU and sitting on them?
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely, mate. Okay, not only do I recommend, I'm doing it. I have bought thousands of the suckers because I know, I actually know that our members, they might not catch on next week. They might not. The reality is, like, that it takes time for people to get their head around some of this stuff. But when people go and try and convert their Eventi CRU and find out that they're going to be paying hundreds and hundreds, and in some cases thousands of dollars, because it's going to be, we're going to get our CRU from the Eventi staking in a couple of days, which is only going to be 1 day. Yeah, okay, but on the 1st of August, the conditional price of CRU is going to go to 50 cents. So if we're still selling CRU for, say, 2 cents on Unitex, and somebody gets, you work it out, someone gets 10,000 CRU as an Eventi reward, and they think, oh, I'm going to convert that to World CRU. And then he goes and finds out that he's got to pay 48 cents for every CRU he wants to convert. The shitstorm that is going to flare up over that is going to be enormous. And there's going to be, there's going to be the beating and screaming and the ranting and the carry on, all the rest of the carry on. Then people will settle down, and then they will say, bugger, I actually did this myself. I got that, I didn't think it through. I've sold my CRU so cheap, now it's hurting me. And the price will then start going up, because people will be thinking, well, I'm not going to keep doing this, because when am I ever going to convert to CRU if it doesn't ever catch up? So in time they will. So I will sit, I'm buying them like crazy now, but I'm not expecting to sell them till September, because in September it's going to be 80 cents. And if we're still selling CRU for 5 cents on the exchange, UGPay, they're going to love it. They're going to be picking up 75 cents every time someone converts. But Andre Harato has said, if you help me lift the price of CRU, you can have the 80 cents. And I reckon people will eventually twig to that and they'll start to get on board. And also, what will also happen, Ian, is I think those people that either don't understand or don't care, those that want to care and those that want to get that thing, they'll be buying the CRU off them. And the ownership of CRU will go into the hands of people who understand they need to get the price of CRU up on the exchange. Now, that might take a month to happen, but I believe it will happen. Next one.
Richard, I've got a comment from NASA, which I thought was really a really good comment. And NASA says that, could it be that there are some unscrupulous people scamming people to sell CRU at P2P very cheap, and then they profit selling at Unitex? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately,
Absolutely.
It's one of the things that ended up stopping the internal exchange last time. Some of the horrendous things that went on peer-to-peer. And really, if you're doing a peer-to-peer transfer with someone you don't know, find a mutually agreeable third party that can work as an in-between for you. If you do a peer-to-peer transfer with someone you have no idea who it is, you are really setting yourself up for a big takedown. So find someone who the two of you can agree on is a person who you can trust to do your exchange, because you want to be sure. But look, the advantage of peer-to-peer trading, we're not going to go into it in a great deal, is that you can circumvent smart contracts. So you can do certain things peer-to-peer that you can't do when you're doing a straight conversion. But when you do it, you've got to do it with people that you can trust. So that's, we'll just leave it at that. We need to all yell out boo to wake up Tom.
I've got another comment from NASA. It is not conversions, but being able to sell by WCRU will only be open to accredited investors. That's correct. People who take the training and pass the exam, or people investing in 100K or over. Can I just jump in with the whole accredited training thing? That there's a lot of discussion going on about that, and this is something I do know a lot about because my husband and I own an accredited college in Australia. So we are right in that whole space. And when people talk about accredited training is not company-based. It's got to be government-based within your country. So I can only speak for Australia. For us to be an accredited broker, we have to have a degree and various accredited training, which is recognised by the government. Even if we did a course with the company, it doesn't give Australians the right to be able to be a broker and be a financial investor. So that's something that really needs to be clarified out there, because there seems to be this real idea that, if we do accredited training with the company, and it's going to allow us to sell WCRU down the track and be investors. You need to look up your own country's rules. But in Australia, that is definitely not the case. If you do training with the company, you have to go to a university or accredited government-run, government-accredited training organisation like a uni or, something like that. And then there's a lot of compliance with the Financial Planners Association and different things before you can actually become a broker to sell STOs in Australia. So just be aware about that. It's not that easy to get accreditation. It can take you years of study to get to that level. And if you are going down that track, that's wonderful, but you need to really make a decision on whether you want to outlay all that time and money, which could be a few years and quite a costly exercise to become an accredited expert in this industry. So that's just my take. So I'm just going through all the questions. From Elin, Richard, support is not responding my DM. Yep, that's right, Elin. Support can't do that. Does anybody else have a question while I'm going through all these messages? Unmute yourself and throw it in because we haven't got much time.
Yeah, mate. What's your question, buddy? Shuri?
No, there's no question. I just want to elaborate one more point against, like, say, what Connor has asked about. Like say, if we have been getting close for the CRU, the prices, the people who wants to be accredited investors, or the people who want to invest into SEC STO, they'll buy our CRU, whatever are being left on Unitex.
Yeah, they can, yes, they can buy them, they can buy the CA, anybody can buy CRU because that's not anything to do with an accredited, but they may not be able to do the conversion.
No, once, like say, the CRU are being owned as a co-owner, everybody can convert the CRU into WCRU. So anybody who's not even been an accredited one, he can buy CRU from the Unitex and convert them to WCRU and become, like say, an investor with the SEC into STO.
Okay. That's what it is right now, but I don't know if that's the rule that they're changing.
No, because if the price would be equaling CRU to WCRU, the condition has to be same. Because people who bought CRU are the co-owners.
Mm-hmm. I understand what you're saying, but I don't know what it is that Armand's was telling me that is different. I don't know what it is, so I can't. In anything that we talk about, I'm just guessing. There's something Armand's is aware of that is going to change the way we're doing it in October.
No, it's my thoughts. Like say, hopefully,
well,
the things which will be moving on in future.
Right, mate. Yep. Yeah, go, Connor.
Yeah, and I just want to say that once the crypto unit white paper comes out, that most of our questions will be answered, I would think.
Okay. All right.
So Richard, can I say something, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hi. Yeah. I understand what you're saying, that the opportunity only goes till October. What I'm trying to get my head around is how great the demand is going to be, because if it's going to come from things like NDE, probably the people initially doing NDE will people already have either WCRU or CRU, and if it's UGAIN, that's also going to have time to take off. So I really am struggling to see that the demand is going to be there for people who want to buy the CRU.
Okay. If you look at the 4% that is going to be released, as big as as big as that is, if you look at and I can get the figures on how many millions of CRU were actually staked initially, so you'll know the volume of what that 4% is. So it's the belief that the 4% that's been released will well and truly be absorbed by the increase, the massive increase in numbers of people wanting to participate in the CRU and in the World CRU program. That's the belief that if you release 4% of the number that is being released will cater for the increased number of people that will be joining. And this is the thing with the digital guarantee thing. We still don't know the full extent and the full final numbers on the digital guarantee thing. we've still got to learn that. We also know with CRU that anybody who the company do any joint ventures with or joint partnerships with, this was discussed recently, will have to buy CRU or World CRU to participate with us in new ventures. We also know, and it got discussed recently, that there is a new CRU staking program to be released. Now, we always, Andre did say right back when the Eventi thing came that there would be something available when those CRU got released. Now, we don't know, that hasn't been, Maria hinted at it in her last webinar. Andre hinted at it in the closed meeting. He didn't give us any details on it, but there is something in the wind that will soak up those things, that it's the digital guarantee, U-Gain, this new program that they're coming up. These are the things that the company believe will absorb all of this new releases of CRU. Now, the company also, I believe when they first started this out, didn't believe there was going to be such a huge difference between CRU and World CRU. That's the thing that I think has caught people off guard. They've caught them on the hop. That they need to they need to sort of look at that, because that's going to require, that means a lot of people are going to stake. They're not going to be able to afford to convert to World CRU straight away. They're going to either have to take the option of staking to earn UNTB, sit on it for a while. So it might take a couple of months for the price of World CRU to come up, even if the price of World CRU comes up. So the cost of converting to WCRU isn't as prohibitive as what it is right now. So the Armands feels, or the company feel, that they have it under control, or they can present something that will be marketable, but it's up to us to actually look at it and say, you know, do we put any value in this? Because if it's not going to work, it will not work while we all believe CRU is only worth 1 cent. The gap is too great. And the whole thing will just won't work. It's too great. That people do need to start to understand that CRU is 2 mouse clicks away from being World CRU. And therefore, for it to be 1 cent just means that people aren't understanding that. And they're going to understand it. If people thought that they could suck the blood out of CRU and then the company was going to just bend over and just provide them with this really cheap opportunity to convert to CRU, they're in for a big shock.
Because my point is we've still only got 2 months for them to create that demand for us to be able to command the price we want.
Well, yeah, I understand what you're saying, and their response to that is that they're doing a program. They're at, like, when the conditional price of World CRU went to 10 cents at the beginning of this month, the price of CRU should have gone to 10 cents if people were understanding what is going on with the conditional price of CRU. So the fact that the members are 3 weeks behind what the company's doing means that we've got to go a little bit quicker than what we may have needed to start getting that price up. Now, once we start doing that, once somebody looks at CRU tonight and they say, oh, it's 1.65 cents, if by magic they were to look at it tomorrow morning and it was 3.2 cents, they wouldn't be able to eat their Weet-Bix. They'd be on their laptop punching in orders to buy CRU. And if the next day it went to 5.7 cents and the next day it went to 8 cents, people would be ringing up their friends. They would be all over the internet saying, get on this thing and get it, get it, get it. Now, we're not doing that. And that's what the company's saying, that that's our problem. That's the members, the people who own CRU are hamstringing the company in being able to create that demand because we're treating it as if it's not worth owning. I even had a look at it from, even in the last couple of hours, the last 6 hours, there's been a steady rise, or there was before I got into this webinar, just a steady increasing value of CRU on the exchange. It's still way too small, but it's a start, and that's what it's got to be. You will create the demand once that price starts to go, and that price jumps even 1 cent. You watch how many people will jump in and start buying it, even when they see it go up 1 cent. And if that means you have to do what we talked about with Ian, where you buy these and you have to sit on them for 6 weeks and just keep watching that price go up and up and up and up, and then you'll sell them once that parity price is reached. That's the way that demand is created, and we as members have to do that. The company can't do it.
Richard,
Richard, we have a question from Vicky. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Tom. Vicky,
I
do you
also
want
have a
to
question
unmute
for
yourself?
Marie
Oh, yeah.
about
Go, Tom.
CRU that
Yeah.
in limbo, that she wanted to convert, that saw the price is too high. She wants those CRU to be returned to her wallet. Is that possible?
Okay, Michelle knows more about that. There is a debate on at the moment that those who are in the midst of conversion, until their payment is made, no contract has been completed. There is no contract until money exchanges. So there has to be a facility that doesn't exist right now for people to withdraw from that conversion process and just either stake their CRU and start all over again at a later stage. But that is a hotly debated subject at the moment.
Can I just jump in that one, Richard? We're actually having a big discussion in the testing group about that, and I've suggested that they put a cancel button in, and that's hasn't gone down well. But I'm really hoping that a cancel button for all those that are stuck in the middle that have got their CRU and they've gone, well, the price is too high. There are some issues that we've discovered with the conversion, because what's happened is when you convert, you'll see a preview of what you're expected to, pay. And then when you actually convert, the price is a little bit, well, it can be quite higher. And we had a few members that contacted me that said to me that they converted, and because they were just members that hadn't really kept up with anything, they converted expecting it to just convert to WCRU without any payment of it, right? So, and they didn't really have any, connection with their sponsors, so they converted it thinking that was all right. All of a sudden they looked in and they've got no CRU, so they've sent me a private message saying my CRU's gone, and I've gone, it can't just go. So we've gone through all the steps, and I found out that they hit the convert button, and they did it in May, and what happened was they've got this CRU sitting in limbo that now is at a massive price, and I've got people that have got $78,000 to $100,000 in conversion fees that can't go any further. So these people actually want to reverse their transaction back so they get their CRU back, and there's no cancel button. So I've been in a bit of a debate with Marie and the testing group, and my name's not going that well in there, but I've said to her that I believe there should be a cancel button, but because it's a smart contract, there's no availability for a cancel button. So we're actually just trying to, work through that. And I hope we can get a solution where people can actually reverse once they've, when they're the ones that are sitting in limbo, because technically they haven't finished their contract. They're still in limbo. So they can't sell their crew and they can't convert to WCRU. So we need to give them that option to go back. So I'm hoping that will be resolved sooner than later, all I can say, because I've got a lot of private windows when people go in, hey, Michelle, what's going on? And I really can't give anyone an answer because we don't know, but I really hope the company will hear us and put that cancel button in so we can go back to the people that have or unable to pay the fees can go back to whether they sell their crew or just hold on it for the 3 years. At least they've got it and they can do something with it. So that's what's going on there.
Okay,
Say that again, Tom.
And you can't
Sorry, I can
reverse
hardly hear you.
blockchain.
No, but you can't reverse blockchain, but you also don't have a completed contract.
Correct.
And so that's the sticking point, that they've got to create some coding that allows an incomplete contract to be cancelled.
Yeah.
Vicky.
Okay,
Vicky,
my
go
question.
for it. Sorry.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Richard and Michelle. My question is that is it advisable to buy the crew when it's very low? Is it advisable to buy them? Yeah,
but don't make the price go up until I've bought mine. Yes, absolutely. Look, honestly, if people and I've said it quite a number of times tonight, but it truly is. Crew now needs to, well, it always needed to, but we need to now get it in the hands of people who appreciate owning it. It's always been the case, but it is now super critical because as this Eventi thing comes out and a lot of people took the Eventi program on with the view of getting this extra crew to create more world crew. That was the gist of what they're doing. And they're thwarted in doing that by this prohibitive price difference. And so we can, and again, it gets back to what Andre has said to us, is that if we lift the price, we will personally get the advantage for it. That yes, the company gets a spin-off advantage, but we will get the money in our pocket. And that's why if you wanted to make 3,800% on your money, well, buy some crew at 2 cents and sit on it until you can sell it for 80 cents. The probability is you'll be able to do that within 3 to 4 months, because if people find out and start to realise how much they're hamstringing themselves by keeping the price of crew down on the exchange, they will start putting it up. They will.
Okay. Thank you so much.
It's okay.
Anybody else?
Ian?
I see you waving.
Are you waving or are you putting your hand up?
Yeah. No, thanks, guys. I hope you can hear me okay. First of all, guys, I want to thank you guys for putting this on tonight. I mean, it's great to see some good quality co-owners coming through and helping the teams and helping everybody understand it. Richard, you did a bloody good job, mate. I'm very impressed. Very good. Even I understand it. So that's a good sign. But what I'm actually telling the guys, exactly what we're saying here, is by buying that cheap CRU, what I do a bit of a challenge out there. I say, look, guys, what's your personal debt? Do you have a car loan, bit of a mortgage or credit card debt? Match that in CRU. If you've got a $50,000 loan, buy 50,000 a crew. Think about that. Give a bit of a challenge that personally. I don't know. It's just trying to get these guys, because what we've got in our hands is truly, truly exciting, and where we're heading with that. but we need to take control ourselves and push it in the right direction. And it's going to happen. And why not? We're going to reap the benefit of it, guys. When you think of it, like I say, this is a people's business built for the people, and we're it. And I'm a tradie, so what I know about this, I've learned a lot, and it's changing my life dramatically in many ways. So, guys, just hop in there and support the systems. Get out there and make it work, and it's happening anyway. Like I'm saying, there are a lot of things coming up we can't really talk about, but there is a lot of great, exciting things coming up. And I wish it would happen tomorrow, but it's not. There's a process in place that has to happen in that process. And this time next year, guys, happy days. Anyway, guys, thanks. Thanks.
Okay, no worries. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you. So if there's no more questions, we might call it.
Okay.
Any last questions? But we are going to record. We have recorded this. We will put it up on our usual YouTube channel. So on behalf of Richard and I, we thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you, Richard. That was so awesome, your presentation. Like I constantly learn from you. Like he's just an amazing mentor. So everyone give Richard a clap. And you know, it's just like, yay! Thank you, everybody. And like we're on our Telegram group if you want to join us and ask questions. I don't know everything, and Richard doesn't know everything, but we'll have a go. And if we don't know something, we'll ask one of the leaders to give us the answer as we do, and come back to you with an answer if we can get the answer for you. Thank you, everybody, and good night.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.